last time on Dice Funk.
I'm confused. What are you?
I'm a Dia.
Okay, walked into that one. Can you elaborate?
What's that? Can you eat it?
Alright, so this looks to be some sort of nocturnal biome. I think we should use the Holocaster and play a Yu-Gi-Oh card, Mystical Moon, to get some moonlight in here so we can see what's happening.
12 fire damage.
Alright, so you unstop one of your potions, and just a giant ball of fire erupts from it into the sky.
It's like the sun. We've got the moon and now we've got the sun.
Oh my god.
We were doing it. Making this happen.
This is like when they printed Blood Sun to go along with Blood Moon.
And because it's so powerful, it could be dangerous no matter what. So it could be like the platonic form of adorable duckling that could be dangerous if you used it wrong.
Well, if it was the adorable duckling, are you still going to destroy it like I asked? Or are you going to go all soft and try to keep it? You're like, oh, it's so cute. I don't even care if Kashim makes the guy knock my other eye out.
I mean, you can literally take control of me at any time, so the answer is sort of moot, isn't it?
I mean, you could all go down in a blaze of glory, I guess, but
I think Gladys would say, like, it genuinely does depend on what it is. I need to know what it is before I make my decision.
Gladys, would you like a raccoon or a possum to be your Pokemon?
Oh my god.
Pokemon, come on.
Pokemon.
Could take one of these anglerfish that we talked about.
Do you want to bond your soul with Mac tonight?
Bond with Mac tonight. God, that's
And because before they only had like a month-long life cycle, now you've skipped that entirely.
If it's one of those like little moon guys, I imagine that they're like floating. Can it like if I bonded to that, could I just have it like floating around my head like in an orbit?
Like a lunatone, a crescent moon-shaped floating creature?
Yeah.
15 damage to Treyan and Gladys. What the blast wave is as you get close, because you foolishly kind of walk onto the star field as these things are falling. Not like a normal explosion, but almost like some kind of strange druid transformations, right? Where you can wild shape into an animal. Basically, the ground ahead of you does that in such a way that you were like blown backwards and hit by things that once one moment ago were dirt and rocks and plant material and are now porcelain and glass and steel.
And is it leaving anything in like the crater of where this happens? Like, is there a core to this star or anything like that?
And you see dozens of these impacts all over, as far as the eye can see in each direction. And in the epicenter of each impact is a glittering gem.
The best Legend of Zelda game is Darksiders 1, and that's because Legend of Zelda is not actually that great of a series. It is okay.
I like the Darksiders game. I've played all of them, even the bad ones, and I think they're fine, but I'm also an edgelord. Like, my only experience with comic books are Spawn and Hellboy, which I feel like fit in the same niche as Darksiders, so you can kind of see where I'm at, but also... of course, gotta disagree. A couple of great Zelda games. Link Between Worlds.
I just think they get kind of boring after a while. I will say this, Austin. There's something I do every year that I think you'd enjoy. There's a guy who compiled every single Hellboy universe comic book into in-series chronological order. And then I read it in series from the beginning of time to the end of the series. And boy, let me tell you, that recontextualizes some stuff.
Oh, that does sound interesting. As of this recording, we just saw the Video Game Awards, and they announced a Hellboy video game, so we are feasting.
Yeah, I was fully erect.
Well,
What kind of video game is it? He kind of looks like a I don't know. I don't fucking know lots of video games very well, but like he looks like the type who would have like the jump around like slash dudes shoot gun Devil May Cry.
Based off of what I could gather, it looks like it's going to be a God Hand style roguelike.
yeah, it is roguelite action adventure according to the Steam page. Yeah, if it's God Hand inspired, that's interesting because obviously that game was a huge flop when it came out, but now has a ton of cultists, I would call them.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's appropriate.
Yep. And that would track, honestly, that type of stylization, but doing a roguelite sort of thing. The advantage of roguelites as well is that once you get the procedural level generation figured out, then you don't have to worry about designing actual levels. You can just make the game make it every time. It's easy. Yeah, it's so easy.
I think something happened to Mike Mignola as a child, because you can tell it's a piece of media that is written by him if you ever see any sort of primate, because it will be evil and probably try to shoot you with a gun.
Yeah, that monkey's got a gun. Bang, bang. If you've not heard, okay. If you haven't played God Hand, that's fine. I don't think you need to, but you should at least go to YouTube and look up the ending song, where it's a lyric song describing the events of the game you just played. And the lyrics are incredible. They talk about twisting people's nuts and kicking them into the Milky Way. It's just extremely good. So do that for me, and then come back here and listen to the rest of this episode.
Okay, so wait, so we're all right. This is the Godhead episode. Got it. Perfect. Got it. All right.
God, it should be the God Hand episode.
Is it God Head or God Hand?
Hand.
God Hand. Yeah, actually, Kismet here, a story about someone grafting a body part onto themselves. So, Arabella vibes, let's say. So last we left the adventure, the party entered the night biome. Apparently the god of night, the goddess of night, you're not exactly sure, has created an ecosystem for nocturnal animals who didn't take kindly to your crepuscular asses and tried to beat you up. But at the end of the episode, we did some key rolls here to find the form the aboleth has sent you to locate. And you succeeded, but someone botched, which meant I gave you some information and some misleading information. And we ended with you finding kind of the impact site where these gems have been falling to earth, the new one gems, as you figure it out. And as one of them hit the ground in front of you, it caused a shock wave, which not only, knocked you down, but it seemed to basically terraform the ground around it. Everything started changing shape and situation there. So let's pick up right now with Treyan and Gladys kind of standing up. Maybe some of your clothing, equipment, scales have been affected in some way. You can paint me that picture. Throg, you and Gort are fine. You kind of got away from the blast.
Yeah, we saw the boss area of effect attack coming, so we just jumped.
Throg is a warrior of light. Got it. Anyways,
like when you say affected by it, do you mean like just kind of like got tousled around, or do you mean like the terraforming happened? I think that's up to you.
I mean, you can paint me the picture. I'm thinking like you could have like some of the the hems of your garments could be like flowers now. Maybe one of your bottles turned into like a small animal or something. Who knows what could have happened to you?
But not a small animal. That sounds horrific.
I'm just saying, what if you have a little guy now? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think you imagined a full living little creature. I was thinking a horribly malformed Cronenberg type situation.
But Dan, that's just where your mind goes by default, Dan. So,
like some like piece of the clothing or like her scarf or something like crystallized a little bit. It's all shiny, cool now.
Absolutely, yeah. Like if some of your clothing turned into crystals, one of your potions just exploded into a cloud of butterflies, which flew away, stuff like that. And there's all these craters you have found here, and they have these gems in them, like you saw on Dio. Dio is the gem essentially, and it seems like when they hit the ground, they just started rearranging things.
Can I make a suggestion? From the blast, Gladys's new friend Mac is now made of cheese.
Don't do Mac like that.
No,
Don't do my friend Mac dirty like that.
All right.
Okay. I'll
Living cheese.
I was gonna say the joke idea is that one of Treyan's bronze awards turns gold, thus making it worthless in his eyes.
I do like the idea that there is just a wheel of cheese there, and you're like, oh, was that my water skin? God damn it! I need that.
Wheel of cheese just falls out of Treyan's bag.
I mean, I'm now imagining like one of those Skyrim things where you're just like hitting the button to spawn items in, and they just all explode out as the engine struggles.
I would also like to think that Treyan's duffel bag is somehow turned inside out, and all the items are on the ground, like. So he would have to spend time getting the bag to be the right side around.
Yeah, Sprinkles is here, and I think she just kind of walks around and starts picking up stuff and putting it in her bag of holding, kind of on her back behind her capelet.
I think I said this at the end of the episode, but just to reiterate, Gort fetches the little gem from this crash site that he scampered down into, and Throg is going to sort of take it and mull it over for a little bit before deciding to put it into his bag.
Oh man, I think after we've established these things that have happened, like Gladys just kind of dusts herself off and is like, "You seeing this shit, Mac?"
We should get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to stick around and have one of them hit closer to us or on top of us.
Treyan is scrambling to just get his stuff back in the bag while not fixing the inside outness of it.
The certificate says that this is for a fighting competition. Now it says it's for a baking competition.
All right. So you all are going to leave this impact site and start going in the direction it seems like the thing came from. It's obviously up in the sky, but further away from here.
I think Throg's going to be watching how Sprinkles is handling this whole situation. Yeah, how does Sprinkles seem to be reacting to everything that she's seeing here?
That seems like an insight check.
Okay, let's see how this is going to go.
First roll of the recording.
20.
Hell yeah. Sprinkles has definitely taken on a kind of different body language since the impacts. She's been looking around, picking things up. I think with a 20, you actually catch her sneaking some gems into her bag of holding. And more specifically here, there is a sense of her becoming protective of them. We know in the future, her whole thing is literally flying around, finding these gems and attacking people who take them for themselves. Mm-hmm. She kind of becomes like the defender of the artificial or like the synthetic, non-organic person. That's like her mission in the future. Mm-hmm. So this is like the beginning of that, of her feeling a kinship. She's never really known anybody but the aboleth. She's feeling abused. She's getting closer to you. She's feeling conflicted. The 20 is very good, so I'm trying to give you everything. Like, this is the start of her siding with new ones over everyone else. So that's where she's at now, is like coming to that realization and beginning that journey.
I think Throg would probably pick up on this, and he can identify it with it pretty well. And he'd probably sort of say to kind of at her, I guess, you identify with them.
It looks like Sprinkles wants to respond to you, and then suddenly her, whole demeanor changes, and she raises one of her clawed fingers to her lips to like shush you. Mm-hmm. And you all hear a voice say, Hey y'all, what's going on? You on your quest still? Did I miss anything? I took a big nap. You got to recharge when you're my age and my size. The calorie deficit, it's a whole thing. Yeah, I remember my buddy was telling me once that if you eat 10 people a day, you'll double in size every 10 years. I'm not a nutritionist, never checked it out, but it seems right.
It's really dependent on the types of carbohydrates you're taking on. Certain ones have a different glycemic index, and that will change how your body ingests it over time. So it really is more of a matter of just monitoring your diet intake to get different outcomes.
I used to date a gal named Glycemic. She was from well, you wouldn't know about it. It's a small island nation, We used to have more of those before everything got exploded. That's not my fault. I didn't do that.
Throg's amazed that Treyan said glycemic index.
Treyan has fucking, cool fit boy knowledge.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Throg's like, what the hell is a glycemic index? What's a carbohydrate?
You got to make sure that your proteins have all the aminos in there, or else you're not really synthesizing and healing. You're just putting calories in you with no goal. So just saying, yeah.
You ever seen the John Boyce video, "The Dumbest Boy of All Time"? It's about bodybuilders arguing over how many days are in a week.
Oh my god. Is that the 3.5 days or something?
Yeah.
Trade works out 3.5 days a week. He finds how to get a half day workout in there.
See, if you live in the woods like Throg, you can never stop working out because you'll die effectively.
So the aboleth says, "So what were you talking about there, Throg?"
I was thinking back on my past.
I do that a lot. It's a great time. Things were better back then. Do you have an old gal back in the day? You have any great stories?
I think when the aboleth says, "Did you have a gal back in the day?" His face just kind of goes dark for a moment, and then Throg says, "We are proceeding to where the form likely is. We should be there shortly."
Well, golly gee, that sounds awful swell. Have a good trip, destroy the form, and you can all go and be your own little guys. And then our business is concluded. I still, I highly recommend if you want to try to find this trader god and make a place so you can bring back, Gladys's eye. And if anything happens to me, you can make me all better. I feel like it's a win-win-win-win-win-win. All around we're winning. We're gonna be winning so much. You don't even have to worry about it anymore because you'll be winning. It sounds good.
Are you winning, old man?
When the aboleth reminds you to destroy the form, obviously Sprinkles looks at her feet pointedly. I guess it's dark. Only Gladys with your dark vision would be able to see that particularly well.
You know what? I think Throg will actually ask the aboleth something. And he'll ask it, "You, as you have said, think the past was better. But this is not the world we are from. It cannot be made into the world we are from. What are you trying to return to? It will always be fundamentally different."
Well, it's a new world, Jack, but we can bring ourselves to it, and we can bring traditions and all the things that made our whole thing cool and good. You got to have the conviction of your beliefs, and you have to believe in your convictions. So we're coming up here, and we're gonna.
What do you believe? What do you want? You've never articulated anything other than kill the form, go to the past. But what do you want to do?
Oh, are we going to get an aboleth musical number now? It's just
the I want Disney.
I want. Yeah.
He wants to be the first fish with legs.
I can show you the world, Jack. Listen, it doesn't take a brain genius to figure out this is the place to be. It's a whole new world, and whoever gets here gets it. It's the chance of a lifetime. You'd have to be out of your gourd not to be in Arabella right now. It's just what else is there? It doesn't even need an explanation. You see a big pile of money. You're not going to try to pick it up, put it in your pocket.
I think Throg's point is that like he came up here with a goal in mind. He wants to help people. He doesn't understand what the aboleth actually wants to do. To him, it seemed like it's I think he said it a few times. He is everything he hates about dragons and himself in a lot of ways. He's so stuck in the past that he's just like throwing platitudes in his mind. He just wants old, but has no concept of what old actually is or how to get there.
I'm just thinking, Treyan always comes like, when you think about it, this world is so new. We are in the past already relative to people ahead of us. So,
The old world is not a place to live in. The rents are high, the food is bad, the dust is disgusting, and the morals are deplorable. You gotta go up, old man. You gotta go up and grow up with the new world.
The Arabella, or also known as the villages.
It sounds like you, as in the aboleth, you have ambition for the sake of ambition, which I've known people like that. That's a goal.
Who does an aboleth pay rent to? I think we have gotten our answer.
Yeah, I don't think there's any more use prodding about it.
I mean, I want to be very clear. I think this is not only an answer, I think it's the answer most people would have. This is something that comes up a lot this season, where everyone is like trying to be in a very like modern, rational mindset instead of a kind of, I think the more realistic thing, which is everyone would be killing each other for every square, mile of land.
No, for sure. I mean, like that, it also kind of speaks to like how some of the characters up here don't have those same sort of desires or wants, but they're up here, as you sort of alluded to, like, we're up here because the dragons basically want the same thing that the aboleth wants. It's just the fact that I think members of Dragon Quest are not really on board with the dragons want.
Yeah, is that causing you to reflect on your mission at all? That you're like, our leaders want what this guy wants, and this is a very upsetting mindset.
I do think Throg, rather probably hypocritically, probably doesn't view dragons and aboleths as entirely the same, because he knows that dragons, like they don't have like a fallback of infinite memories locking them into a certain mindset. And he's grown up on gold dragon propaganda, essentially.
Yeah, which is, I think, good. I think if all of you were like, actually, we all have the exact same modern ideas about colonialism, and we reject, the aboleth ideology out of hand, and we have no cognitive dissonance, I think that would be less satisfying than your characters actually having some thoughts and ideas banging around in their heads.
Yeah, like I think like for Gladys, I think she doesn't have. Like maybe like she might have some, like, I don't think she has questioned like the idea of like fully of like dragons like coming up here and finding a piece of their own in this new world, because like I think in her head it's like, well, it's like helping other people, because there's like dragonborn and kobolds and stuff that would also be coming up here. So it's like I think if I had more time to talk about it with good words, like I think Gladys would have some kind of like take on it that's like maybe more nuanced than my square mouth can do it justice.
Yeah, and from Treyan's perspective, he was probably raised on various bits of propaganda and probably even had strong stretches of like being put out there to be the best for the sake of dragons in general, but has been dealing with the aftermath of like, well, when they're expecting, this degree of perfection, and they don't get it. They just sort of rip everything away. Sad moment there, but no, but yeah, absolutely. I think that Treyan is drawing some connections between the aboleth's vague to him wanting for things, and relating that to what the elders, the other dragons, seem to have wanted by sending Dragon Quest on up. So, yeah, themes.
I think there's like mental connections in my head between aboleth and Gladys's ex-business partner and dragon elders, and there's something connecting them all. I think that's like a following of authority and like old ways that, like, even if Gladys wants to like not use money anymore and just make things for the sake of making them, it's kind of hard to break free of it even in the new world, because people from the old world are coming up here.
Throg is basically Worf. He has an idealized view of what a dragonborn or dragon ought to be, and holds himself to that standard, even if deep down he recognizes the fact that most dragons don't, but he believes they should. And if he doesn't hold himself to that standard, what's the point of even trying?
Well, all right.
And the entire time this conversation happened, the aboleth was talking about roller rinks in the 1950s.
Oh yeah, aboleth was like just I'm just imagining this like philosophical discussion, and the aboleth is like gently talking over it in our brains, and it's the worst audio sensory hell in the world.
Talk about the time he tied an onion to the belt because it was the style at the time,
Yeah. But what's Gort's view on colonialism?
Well, woof woof, arf arf, growl.
I got B-speak. I could ask him.
Yeah. So what are y'all doing?
I think Gladys like wants to try just taking a like we're getting closer, right? We're like walking. We're like how close are we by now? She wants to like take a look up at the sky.
How about a nature check? Let's try nature.
Okay. Let's see, nature. That's a 10.
So, looking at the stars above, you can see that there are constellations and so forth that you can remember and judge your movement by. You're like, okay, we're moving southeast. Let's just stay on this course. So, with an average, you don't know if it's like any moment now. In fact, here's the thing I want to say for a 10, which is like, okay, we're going in the right direction. That's all I know right now. At which point, some things come whistling through the darkness. 19 to your AC, Gladys.
Oh.
27 to your AC, Treyan. 26 to your AC,
yeah.
Throg.
Okay, that hits.
I hit. So yeah, I hit. 27, I think, is slightly above 20.
Yep. So 8, 10, and 8 damage respectively, as each of you are hit by a blast of force that just comes out of the darkness from some direction. You can't even figure out what it was, where it was coming from exactly. It feels like all you have just been punched by like a boxer.
Yeah, just put like with that maximum damage on there is like Treyan got hit in the solar plexus and like is staggered back and collapses, sucker punched out of nowhere.
Yeah, Sprinkles behind you just like starts digging into the dirt to try to hide like a little mole.
Yeah, I think Throg drops to the one knee and places his shield out in front of him. He's got Gort hiding behind him.
Yeah, Gladys is just like on like she probably just like falls over and has to like push herself back up. That was very unexpected.
Yeah, with a 10, you're going in the right direction, but now you're under attack.
Bad news, we got hit by something, but good news, I guess we're getting closer. All right.
What hit us? What was that?
Stung a bit.
Throg will like look over his clothes and where he was hit. Have we been changed at all by this blast of magic or force or what have you?
Great question. No, you have not. In fact, there's no singeing or burning or anything, so it wasn't like lightning or fire or acid. It seems to have been force in the most literal kind of application of that term, like just pure mass times volume.
Mm-hmm.
Mass times speed, I guess. Mass times velocity. Velocities with the V.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That big brain words. All right. Treyan's going to take his inside out baseball cap and reverse it so that the brim is facing forward, kind of braces himself a little bit, and then starts like jogging into the direction that the attack came from.
Incredible. So you just start charging. Like I said, with a 10, I don't even know if you know the exact direction. I assume you just keep going forward. And we are going to roll again. Crit. That's a crit.
Against 2, though.
You started running.
Sweet. Perfect.
God damn.
Oh my lord. So you only take 10 damage. Once again, you were just hit. Like full force by another blast. It's dark. You have blind sight, so you can feel the vibrations and hear the whistling in the winds and stuff, but you don't have a great sense of the spatial context.
It was just a bit of a cough from Translate, good form with that one, and then he's hurting a bit, but tries to keep going, pushing forward. If anything, distracting attacks from the others.
Throg will call out for Treyan to stop running so he doesn't get himself killed.
Gladys was also about to be like, Treyan, wait, come back. That's a bad idea.
And Throg will sort of yell out, who is out there? We do not mean to engage you in combat.
All right, so we got yelling and we got running. Let's get an athletics for Treyan to just run, just completely head empty, charging ahead. And let's get persuasion from Throg to yell into the darkness.
Oh god, I've got a -1. Let's see how this goes. 17.
That's pretty good.
That'd be wait, that was acrobatics. My bad. There we go. 6 for athletics there.
All right, very bad. So Treyan, you're going to get shot again. You take only 4. So Treyan just runs out and just basically gets machine gunned by force. And as your body is battered and you are, bruised pretty badly, Throg, you start yelling, and then the firing stops.
Throg will holster his pickaxe and still holding his shield say, I am walking towards you with calm intent. Who are you?
As you say that, because you're kind of approaching Treyan, who's standing out on the moors, battered and bruised. Some figures come from kind of in front of you, off to a side a little bit. Treyan wasn't running directly at the shooter's position. Mm-hmm. Three figures come out of the darkness. Each of them is an elf. One of them is the shooter, Bronco, the dark elf, who is doing eldritch blasts with the sniper warlock ability, which lets them shoot from hundreds of feet away.
Oh, hello.
It's you guys. Hey.
Gladys is surprised. She's just like, what? Why? What? How? Why? Just kind of stuttering for a little bit like that.
Yeah, I think Bronco sees you, Gladys. You're still wearing his helmet. He kind of runs up to you and says, "Oh, hey, sorry. I'm the only one who can see in the dark out of us. So I was keeping a lookout for ambushers in the dark, and I just saw people coming towards us. I didn't know it was you. Sorry about that."
It's okay. It's very dark out. I think some of us also might not have a great sense of seeing in the dark. I think I get that.
Sid, The elf and Justine, the seasonal Eladrin, also come up. I think Justine switches into like a summer form and casts the cantrip light, and so she can hold kind of a flaming sphere in front of her so she can see a little bit. But neither of them have the spell sniper feat, which doubles your spell's range. So yeah, they were just kind of hunkered down there. But now you see all of them, and they walk up to you and they make their apologies.
You would not have any healing materials with you, would you? That hurt quite a bit.
Justine, who's ostensibly the leader of this group, she is, hefting this iridescent axe with her. She says, well, we actually just got done fighting Rex at the reliquary. He kicked our asses again pretty bad. So we were going to set up a camp if you want to join us. I don't know how much healing stuff we have left, but, maybe a drop of potion here.
Well, at the very least, we will be safer together. Yes, we saw the reliquary you came from.
We saw that a fight happened, and I remember thinking I wish I could have helped. I'm glad to see the three of you are still alive.
Sid steps up. She has this piccolo that she uses to cast her bardic magic, and she says, "Oh, are you talking about the art ecosystem? Because we just fought him at the night reliquary."
Oh,
again?
a third. Oh my goodness! Even more recently. Good. I'm even more glad you're alive.
I think Throg is watching Gladys's expression about this pretty closely, considering they had a whole conversation about whether it was right to spare Rex or not. And he's concerned on how she's taking this news.
She looks concerned. She looks nervous. She maybe looks like a twinge guilty.
Yeah, Justine explains to you all that. It seems like Rex is determined to gather as many magical items from these graves as possible. He has quite a collection and 100 hands to wield them, so he's only going to get more powerful.
Yeah, Throg just sort of pinches the bridge of his brow and goes, this will have to be dealt with, and I don't think anyone can take it alone anymore.
Well, maybe if we were to travel together a bit further along or something, maybe if we run into Rex again, all six of us could try to take him on and stop him from gathering up too many of those things.
Sid says, in some of our cultures, the underdog is the favorite protagonist, but in traditional giant storytelling, they actually follow a system called the ordning, and they believe that the ideal protagonist is actually like the coolest and strongest and most powerful. So I think from a giant perspective, if I was staging this, of course, I think I would give him like 100 magic weapons, and that would make him like really popular for that crowd. Maybe not for yours, but.
Well, let's not have that play happen, I think.
Well, giants go to plays too.
Right, but if they kill everyone here, we're not going to be able to hold a play at all.
Gladys is like how about maybe we continue this talk by the fire and maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you all are going to go back to where the elves were to kind of set up a camp. Mm-hmm. I sometimes am sad that I haven't cultivated the kind of audience who would get the Michael Jordan Republicans buy shoes too joke, which is what that was.
Wait, are you saying that that Rex is just an embodiment of Republicans? Okay, no.
Yes, as everybody knows, Donald Trump has 100 hands and 60 heads.
I don't even know what to do with that.
It's why he has such big, ill-fitting suits.
He's just hiding hands in there?
Yeah.
He's just got a suit full of hands?
That's very bad mental image. Thank you.
Dan with another peak bad mental image description there. Perfect.
It's one of my many skills.
Mm-hmm.
So you all kind of go up this incline to where the elves were. This is where, Bronco set up a kind of sniper's nest to Eldritch Blast down on ambushers. I've seen people do this in D&D as player characters. It's extremely hard to argue with a properly kitted out warlock. And you see the Reliquary of Night. It is a huge black needle, like a spire building that goes up and up and up until you think it's going to touch the stars.
So, did any of you get the body part or something in there, or?
The elves are setting up camp, they're going to start a fire and so forth. Everyone's kind of patching up their wounds. We can roll hit dice if you want to. Justine
out.
Yeah. Justine, as the leader, says, actually, the body part was gone when we got here, so we weren't the first to show up, but the weapon inside was huge, and I guess whoever took the body part couldn't carry it, but now Rex has it, so...
The person who has the body part is probably whoever crashed in that wreckage we found in the art biome.
I think Sprinkles nods oh yeah, that makes sense. Because you aren't the first people to ever come up here, Mm-hmm. This is early days of exploration at Arabella, but there are other people bouncing around.
Well, I mean, like we said, it's good to see that you're all still alive and you can heal up here and all that.
It was a giant weapon, you said?
Yeah, it was some kind of big staff, like a wizard staff. I don't know exactly all the properties it had. It kicked our asses. There's a bunch of necrotic energy. Rex shot at us. He has a big sword, a big axe, and he's going to have more and more stuff as he moves east.
Can we still see the falling stars from here?
I'm so glad you asked, Dan. I'm incredibly happy that you asked. Can I get a perception?
From my feet thing, I've got a default of passive 20. I think we went with using that last time. Do you want me to roll again?
No, that's what I wanted. That's what I needed. That's what I'm craving, is you using your perception to look at the stars. And you see that this black spire of night, essentially this grave to the god of the darkness, which pierces the heavens, has at the tip of it some kind of inky blackness, and it's hard to look at. Mm-hmm. It's a magical phenomenon. I don't know that apocalyptic survivalist like you living in the woods know what a black hole is. Mm-hmm. But with a 20, you see just this darkness beyond darkness, this Vanta black nothing, mm-hmm. which seems to be sucking light in towards it, and it's hard, like I said, to look at. It feels like it makes you nauseous, or when you look, there's some kind of optical illusion, you're seeing something, but you're not sure you're seeing something. Mm-hmm. And then you see out of that nothingness, that darkest darkness, something streak out and shoot to the west, falling like a star back in the direction you came.
So it's coming out of the black hole, from what I can see.
Yes.
Okay, because my next question was going to be, is it are these twinkling stars being pulled into its gravity and then rocketed out like a gravity slingshot?
That's a great question. With the 20, I'll say no. It seems like the stars and the black hole were created intentionally by the god of night.
Okay.
Those are things that are supposed to be there and supposed to be part of the tableau for the nocturnal inhabitants. You get both the beautiful midnight sky, and you get the darkest darkness, the mm-hmm. black hole, the epitome of the aesthetic. But the thing about black holes is they suck things in, and they are supernaturally almost powerful. The kind of thing that's a form could have intersected with and got sucked into.
Okay, so maybe this isn't intentional. Maybe this is a byproduct.
It sounds like the black hole sucked up the form, but because the form is so primordially powerful, it's still doing something inside of there, mm-hmm. and it can escape the gravitational pull of a black hole to shoot gems out of it.
This feels like a Scribble Knots type of solution. You just like capture find a way to contain the form of this domain. You just write black hole. It just spawns in the world and sucks up everything.
I've played enough Scribble Knots to know that you just summon Cthulhu. Cthulhu will take care of it.
That's right.
It almost feels kind of like a malicious SQL injection.
I know that's a computer thing.
Because you can, ways you can fuck with computer systems, if you can find a way to do it, is you can insert data into tables that should not have, specific kinds of data. And,
like quotes and stuff like that. Yeah.
And it sounds like it was inserted, it somehow got into this black hole. It's not meant to handle this type of thing. And as a result, the side effect is that it's hucking out these gems every so often.
Earlier in the episode, you asked, was this deliberate? Why here? Why now? Mm-hmm. Was there some kind of plot or plan or conspiracy? I think with the 20, I'm just going to tell you, it seems like it was just an accident that this thing from outside the universe got caught, and one of the only things that could have caught it. And it would be destroyed if it was anything else, right? Like the gravitational interior of a black hole would obliterate any regular matter, but this is non-material. This is something perfect and simply beyond the bounds of normal physics. Mm-hmm. So it's just in there in a way it wouldn't normally be in there.
Yeah, I think Throg will just kind of scratch his head and go, what do we even do here?
I'm trying to think, I wonder, I think you said, it's hard for, survivalist adventurers to know what the fuck a black hole is, scientifically. Was there like a nature roll or something to try and understand the gravity, pun intended, of how fucked we are that a black hole couldn't destroy this thing?
I just like the idea of one of us just picking up an item, just throw it at the black hole, see what happens.
I was thinking that too, but it sounds like it's real far up in the sky.
Well, hey, we're really strong, okay? We're just pretty strong guys. Just give us a chance. We get a sling, give it a little spin, and just chuck it up there,
Out of character, I'm just trying to think. All right, it's something that can't even be destroyed by a black hole. That's a later problem. How do we get it out?
Yeah, these are all great questions. I think if you're looking for a role, it's religion. Just because that's the closest thing we have to form discourse is religion.
Religion roll.
Wow. Treyan rolled a 9.
I got a 25. I believe that is a crit. Yes.
I got a 16.
The group not only succeeds, you have a crit. So I guess, Sarah, this is your big moment. This is how Dragon Quest is going to kind of get to the finish line of the things we've been building to. Let's work on this together. We've talked a couple times before about your desire to democratize the gifts of the gods, to duplicate them. We've rolled a couple times for it, and you've succeeded every time. I said before, I'm really glad that roll worked, because if it didn't, I would just be like, you don't know shit, fuck you. But with this crit, I think you're coming to the end of that journey. The form is something powerful enough to make the impossible possible. It is within your grasp. Why don't you walk me through your thought process? Let's, with a crit, build this together. You're going to succeed. How does this look? How does this work? Let's talk about it.
Okay, so I'm trying to summon everything I know theoretically about black holes. I know they warp the perception of how light works because they suck in everything, because they're an extremely dense amount of mass in a really small space.
So yeah, you're talking about the physics of a black hole in our universe. I will say that this is not the god of astronomy who did this. This is the god of darkness, kind of doing their own thing, kind of playing jazz with it. So there's actually more flexibility.
I'm bringing my knowledge into inform how I perceive this thing. If it's darkness, Vanta black, and there's the form inside, and it's spitting gems out.
Especially because it's so close, right? If a black hole was in the same neighborhood as our planet, we would all be destroyed instantly. This thing appears to be at the top of a building you're standing next to. So
Yeah,
That is, yeah.
it's a very fantasy black hole. I'm just I get excited about space stuff.
Sure. But yeah, so you have, I think, a lot more room to play with than if this was like a Hawking accurate celestial object here. But you can do what you want. I think part of the question is, are you actually going to go through with the plan to destroy it? The aboleth is very clear. That's what he wants you to do, so no one can have it, so no one can be more powerful than him. But you see, Sprinkles is growing an attachment to these gems. She seems like she doesn't want that to happen. We know in the future she kind of becomes the protector of the new ones. And also, you think the forms are the only thing powerful enough for you to succeed at your tool quest. Your the gifts duplication we've discussed. So,
because as far as Gladys understands it, the only thing this form is doing at the moment is making new sapient life, and in her mind, she's like, well, at this point, after everything I've learned, no, I don't think she would want to destroy it, because it doesn't seem like it's doing anything aside from making people, and the people are walking around, finding, statues or whatever to live inside.
Also, do you have any idea what this is the form of? I don't know if anyone wants to say it and get the credit for being the person to guess it, but you crit, so I am open to just saying it out loud if you would like.
Yeah, I've been trying to guess what it is all for a while now. I've had multiple ideas I shared in the disc in our private recording Discord. I've had ideas like creation, transmutation, alchemy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, transmutation is right. That's not the word I would have said, but that is correct. As far as
you get a passing grade.
It's the semiotic answer that I'm looking for. The word I would have said was change, because
I was thinking of the word change, but I don't think I brought it up earlier, so it didn't come up in my mind while I was talking now. But that makes sense, because everything is changed. It's the new world. Everything's changing. Gods died to create a new thing. They went through a very extreme change from person to place.
Yeah, there's all these echoes throughout the whole season. I don't know if you want me just to say the subtext out loud, but everything from Dio's whole thing, changing their bodies, changing their body constantly, to literally the players changing character over and over and over. That's obviously not intentional. That's just one of those things where it lines up to, yes, everything you've said about, culture, land.
Yeah, you also have the Pokemons changing when certain things happen. Yeah, so.
Absolutely, that was another one.
Yeah, I didn't get this one. I was thinking more, this is more abstract than any of the ideas I was having for it. So you got me there, Austin.
Well, this one goes in the Sarah column.
Yeah.
Sarah wins.
Perfect victory. Finish him. Sarah, what's your fatality?
Yeah, Sarah, how are you going to kill me?
Better do one shot. Better make it hurt.
Charging full price for the first time for a potion without being forced. Just make you poor.
I can't believe you left me destitute on the streets. The slow death.
Fucked up. Gladys evil arc now.
We break out the fan art of the get down with the sickness potion being cracked open. Cut straight to a montage of Gladys just massacring everyone else. Good
actual
end.
Answer for fatality is potion up that sun thing that I was using to fight off the bats and have it go supernova. That's a pretty cool fatality.
I was gonna say potion up Mac, and then the moon just crashes into someone and takes them out.
My Majora's Mask son Mac.
So you say about unleashing the sun from your vial and making it go supernova. I have to admit that sparks something in my brain, which is if you want to defeat the god of night's black hole, one of the ways to do that would be to introduce a equal but opposite light, right? Because we're not actually talking about the physics of a real black hole. We're talking about a construct of darkness. So the opposite of darkness, the thing that negates darkness, would be light. And so...
And then I do have a idea about the democratizing items thing. So like if it's the form of change, then it's maybe possible to like put something like take one of these like items that I'm thinking like, could you change it into its component forms and therefore get the ritual so that you could replicate that by understanding how it worked? Like,
yeah, I think that's definitely a thing that we'll talk about after we get our hands on it. Right now, you're at this campsite. Let's kind of zoom back into the characters. Everyone's like having a very rough meal of like hardtack and beans or something around the fire. You're all catching up. Bronco's saying like, "Oh, has my helmet been serving you well?" And then in the background we just see Throg staring up at the spire. Because it was your perception check, and you're the cogs are clicking in your brain as everyone else is like patching themselves up. So let's get actually in that scene.
Yes, I think I will tell Bronco like that the helmet has been extremely helpful. I don't think I've ever been so able to focus on the things I need to without freaking out than I've been with this thing.
That's great. Bronco claps you on the shoulder and smiles and says, "It makes me feel taller." Does it work for you the same way? I'm not sure if that's just like psychologically like related to me or if it's the helmet in general.
I wouldn't say it makes me feel taller. I think it makes me feel more upright as a person.
Oh, it's a posture thing for you. Fascinating.
Just nodding my head, like a finger to my chin, like, yeah, interesting differences.
Sid says, yes, slouching over the cauldron, a classic image. It really gets the people going. They love it.
Has been a while since I slouched over a big cauldron. I do a lot of smaller mixing. I only have so much room to carry things.
I think, Throg is just sitting there staring at the spire, no matter how much it's hurting his eyes, thinking and thinking until eventually, like, he sees one of these stars streak out of it. And then he says, he just kind of points at it and says, it's that.
Justine says, what's that? What's going on? What are you all even doing here? I thought you went back or stayed at the mines?
Treyan, do you think it would hurt to say what we're doing now?
At this point, the aboleth's voice cuts in and he says, "Hey, Jack, keep that to yourself. You don't need to tell any of these little pointy-eared son bitches nothing. This is between you and me, you know?"
Son of bitches, Such harsh language. Such harsh language.
He might as well have just called them knife ears.
We've been wrapped up in a bit of things for, well, like Gladys said, our mission for the dragons down below.
Justine says, "No offense, but we're still on our mission. We gotta compose a work of great art for the elves and everyone who's counting on us back home. So we can't let you kind of take charge here. Not to be rude about it, just being upfront. It's the leadership quality."
Yes, we have no... Our mission is still the same here, to ensure this world is actually safe for dragons. I have no wish to broke your attempt to make the greatest piece of theatrical work ever created.
Sydney smiles and nods vigorously and says, "Thank you. That's important for me to hear. I mean, it would align with your interests, right? If the elves won and the giants lost, right? I think Rex getting everything up here is a kind of a bummer for your guys. So
Rex reminds me of a bad habit young red dragons can develop. They gather, they crush, they destroy. They have no goal in mind. They just do.
I think under his breath, Bronco says something like, I think all his friends died. I don't know about all that.
Gosh, I wonder what happens when all your friends die, huh? Anyways.
I think Throg just sort of shrugs and says, I gave him the choice. He did not have to fight us. And it seems like every step of the way, he has chosen to do this. He had no plans for the items he took. This is the path he is on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the elves are obviously glad you sided with them. I think just everyone is just kind of looking into the fire and thinking about the alternate universe where you were like, oh, sorry about your friends, but these elves seem awful selfish, want us to help you whip their asses. Because that also is a other timeline that easily could have happened.
I mean, Throg didn't even really choose to side with either of them. He just kind of said, why are you fighting? What's the point here? And then he attacked, the giant decided to attack. So he fight. Yeah. He chose his path.
I think, if I remember right, I think the dude who has, like, fucking tattoo marks about all the, like, dragons and dragonborns he's killed and, like, miming making 2 more, I think. Like, there's, like, yeah.
That's just bro talk, you know? That's just...
It's not, like, a justification to attack him, like as, like, a human person who knows that, like, attacking people is wrong, but, like, on a narrative sense.
I just like the idea, like, oh, no, that's just bro talk, you know? He's just talking, like, you know, just saying things, you know? He didn't mean anything by that.
He did directly threaten 2 of our lives and said that Gladys was not worth killing.
Yeah, I think I improv'd that, like, once it seemed like that's where the conversation was going. I don't think I had that in mind going into that session. That's just my mouth open sometimes.
Yeah, I guess Throg will sort of dodge the question further for the time being. Well, actually, it seems like it has been dodged. They're off of me saying that's it. I guess Throg will pivot the conversation, ask them, so do you plan to head out from here?
Justine says, you know, we did some scouting because this place is really dark. We're kind of wandering around blind. So we were looking in all directions, seeing what was going on here. And to the northeast, we found this huge wall of earth, just like up into the sky, miles. It's like impossible to climb. But when we found some holes in it, like, you know, tunnels inside, and we were worried about getting lost in there. So we were checking out over here first. But it seems like this place is all darkness and misery. So I think we're going to go back into the tunnels. They all look at each other and, like, nod. And they're like, we got to get to the far east of the world first. You know, like, we got to figure out what's going on over there.
A tunnel biome, you say? That's interesting. We've already seen a god of mining. I wonder what this might be.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. It's probably just like a little gnome god or some maybe a kobold god or something, you know? There's a lot of people who live underground.
That is actually a question I may ask you. It has come to my attention that there may be a biome of dragons here. Have you heard any inkling of this?
No, not yet. Sorry. I mean, I'm sure there's one for dragons and for kobold and for elves, and we're keeping an eye out, but, you know, I can show you my notes of ones we've seen so far. Mining, art, darkness, tunnels.
Well, I do wish you luck in your travels into these tunnels and hope you find something that you can use for your play. Although I'm not sure how you will make... I guess you could just make a cave set.
Sid speaks up and says, you know, I can cast fly. I was thinking about going over the wall. The thing is, we don't want to ditch all our stuff. You know, it'll make us really heavy. and when we're carrying all these bags and all these armor and all these weapons. And so we'd have to leave that stuff behind if we wanted to fly up over this wall. And that's we got into a big fight about whether to go through the tunnels. And Bronco says, tunnels, tunnels, tunnels. And Justine's like, you would say that. You live in an underground... Never mind. We don't all love tunnels, you little weirdo.
Tunnels are pretty good. Tunnels are nice. They're comfortable.
Tunnels are kind of dope, honestly, you know, if you think about it.
Throg, the only one who can't move around in the dark here. Not a fan of tunnels.
Bronco tries to fist bump you, Gladys. Tunnels.
Tunnels.
Bronco's so cool.
Gladys, do you fist bump?
I do fist bump. I go tunnels.
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 Oh, they're having a moment here. I'm frankly, it's making me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing about the flying spell. You know, it lasts for I think an hour. Treyan, you and I were flying around. We got some air time in, but you gotta you're a monk. You don't really carry things around with you. So
No, I don't carry much other than the medals and stuff. But yeah.
Throg will walk up to the three of them and sort of go, I would like to come to a deal with you for something.
Justine is the leader, and she says, "Oh yeah, what's that?" And she cuts off a piece of jerky with her giant executioner's axe.
Mm-hmm. As you can see, we have obtained some magical items over the course of our journeys. It sounds like you probably won't be able to fly over the tunnels just to be able to keep your stuff. It's going to be dangerous. You'd have to go through it. I would be willing to loan some of the equipment we have gathered to you to get through the tunnels a bit easier. You don't know what you'll encounter. If you would cast Fly on us before you leave. We have some things we need to investigate, and I think that would be a bit easier if we could avoid having to physically walk over land.
The elves look at each other, and Sid says, "Yeah, sure, I can cast Fly on y'all. I'd like to do that in the morning. I'm pretty tired. I just got slapped around by a giant with a big, staff that shot death magic out. So after the nap, how about that?"
Throg will extend a hand to shake on it.
Yeah. You all shake on it. I think, at some point, you kind of weigh your stuff and figure out, what was going to hold you back. It's the ladybug shield and the helm that Bronco let Gladys hold on to that are like the heaviest important things. The pickaxe is pretty heavy, but it's also magical in a way that makes it feel like weightless. Like the way it cuts through metal like butter and stuff. It just has this weird property. So actually the pickaxe can stay with you.
Yeah, I'll switch back to my regular old-fashioned shield then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, Gladys, you have a ton of, paper, heavy pulped paper, which is pretty heavy. I think you can give the elves some of your notebooks, but not all of them. Probably like the earliest stuff.
Yeah, because I've been mulling over it. Like it would make sense to lighten the heaviest bit of the load. I was thinking Gladys probably wouldn't just hand over all of her notes, but if it can be just some of them, then she's willing to do that. She can just.
And Justine wants them because it's a chronicle of our adventures thus far, and that is valuable for a theatrical play.
These notes conveniently cut off right before we meet the aboleth. Don't worry about it.
She has ulterior motives. Yeah, she wants to crib the juiciest stuff from your adventure. We also know that Dio finds this journal in the tunnels, so That is how Dragon Quest starts, is Dio picking up this book and reading it to find out about the falling stars. So we have circled all the way back around.
That won't have the. I guess it probably won't have the part where it meets Dio in it, but that's got to be a weird part to read. Wait, you telling me I'm in this book?
I wonder what their story is like, and then it cuts to Dio's story through Pants for Pets, and then it comes back there. So it's just an endless Ouroboros story that never ends. It just kind of loops back into itself.
Yeah, all right. I think we have a plan. We hand over our equipment to the elves.
So going to bed in the ecosystem of the night is interesting because your circadian rhythm's all messed up. Is there anything you want to say or do here? Because we're going to make some rolls in a moment.
Yeah, I think what is it? When he feels like the aboleth isn't watching currently, he'll sit down next to Sprinkles for a moment and take the gem that he had pocketed and hand it to her.
Nice. Yeah, she takes it, she looks at it and smiles, puts it in her bag of holding, and nods at you as if to say thank you.
I think he'll sit for a moment and quietly petting Gort, and then say, "Do you know much of dragons?"
She shakes her head.
There is a story I think of often that I think may help you in this moment that you are going through. There was a dragon long ago. As a young hatchling, he was found by a human. The human kept him safe. Then as the dragon grew, he kept the human safe. And after a while, he kept the human's family safe. Then when that family became a village, he kept that village safe. And over the generations, the village prospered. This dragon did not keep a horde. One day, years and years later, generations after generations, a city had been built, a kingdom, standing proud, strong, and safe. A young dragon came to this ancient withered worm at the end of its life and asked him, "Dragon, sire, why do you not keep a horde?" The dragon responded, "Look at the city below. That is my horde. Every smiling child a gold coin, every safe family a priceless gem. This is what I do. All that matters is the actions that you take in this world and the effect it has. Protect those gems. Make your own kingdom."
Sprinkles listens intently. Obviously doesn't have the words to respond to you, but then she gets an idea. She kind of stands up, waddles over to Gladys's sleeping bag. I assume you're sleeping at this point. She kind of rustles through your stuff and finds the deck of cards. Previously, the first time she ever expressed herself was by summoning the Melfi Rabby, the little pink rabbit,
and then beating the shit out of it, deeply worrying.
Yeah, to show how the aboleth made her feel. But she walks over to you with this deck of cards and looks for one that kind of shows how she feels about all this. And she pulls out a probably the Melfi Rabby representing her, and then tries to find one that's most like the aboleth, and she finds just this great worm, WYRM. I think you actually use that word in your story. As a dragon. It's a gun dragon. It's like a metal dragon with all of its teeth and claws are like gun barrels.
See, I was going to suggest this card, the Humpty Grumpty.
Oh my god, Humpty Grumpty. Fuck, that's good.
For the audience, it's a horrible egg monster with toes and hands, and a tongue and a nose ring and fucking wakes coming out of its head. It looks quite awful.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, I think there's a couple cards she pulls out. I think Humpty Grumpty is one of them. Maybe these represent her friends, like you, or the gems. That's the thing. I think she assembles like a whole hand of cards to represent all of the people she's thinking about.
Well, this one just kind of looks like the aboleth a little bit. It's the tongue twister.
Oh my god. Yeah, now we're just talking about Yu-Gi-Oh art. But basically she tries to show you that like the Melfier Abbey, wants to protect the gems, the Humpty Grumpties. But there's the aboleth, this gun dragon who is like, breathing down her neck and controlling her, and she doesn't know what to do.
I think Throg will sort of leaf through the the cards, and I think he's going to find two, and let's say one of them is called Enduring Will, and it's like a hero standing up against all odds, and another that's The Great Escape, and it's like a cartoon criminal in like the ball and chain digging a hole through a wall to escape prison. And he's going to place the two of them down and point at her.
Yeah, so you're now just having a full-on conversation with playing cards now while everyone else sleeps, and you just go back and forth. And I think the camera on the scene is like slowly zooming out as you go back and forth, and so like the audience doesn't get the full plan.
I know I have a mental image in the morning of like we're giving like the elves like the stuff that we agreed to like hand over to them for like in exchange for the fly spell, and like I think Gladys has like gone through her notes and like, okay, these are like my personal notes, these like kind of my diary, these stay with me, these are like my extreme, these are like my potions notes, these stay with me, these are like my explorative notes. I'm going to try to make copies in the margins of the notes that I can keep. She's just very meticulously trying to think like, okay, like how many grams of paper can I keep?
Yeah, I think Sid watches you do all this and is like, a little bit exasperated because she just wants the juicy details. She doesn't need all this nerd shit. But looking at you a while, I think, she takes the stuff and just says, I like what you've done with your eye. It makes you stand out a lot. I feel like it gives you character. You're like, one of those people who only have like 3 lines in the second act, but like that's all anyone talks about afterwards.
Thank you. She's a little flustered. She's pretty sure that's like a compliment for real, and it's just like I appreciate that sentiment. Yeah, thank you.
I don't know about these two chuckleheads though. They have real security guard number 4 energy, if you catch me.
While this is happening, Treyan is doing the walking in handstand situation again from the prior day.
Justine comes over to you, Treyan, and she's actually flips into a winter form to show some mild disapproval of your shenanigans as you're doing this. And she says, "You're the leader of your group, right?"
Honestly, I just think that Throg's a bit more leader-like, being the one that has a lot of the ideas. I'm just working on my balance and core right now here. But what's up, Justine?
I guess it's a seniority thing. I thought of all the medals. She like gestures to your, your pile of trophies and stuff you were sorting through to get rid of the heavier ones. But she says, I was just curious what you're all going to use this fly spell for. You didn't really explain.
I think the main thing was just giving us an opportunity to navigate a little bit more quickly than just being on land, and I think the way ahead just kind of has a thing that involves a lot of climbing potentially, and I think it's just a bit easier, especially for the others, if they're able to just take to the air like I can.
All right, yeah, recon surveying, I get it. I guess I'm just feeling a little weird about this because we were sent here for the glory of elf kind. And we're kind of helping some dragon folks who are a pretty big rival to our leaders. I'm conflicted about it. You know, we have a saying in my culture. It's who owns the moon? Have you ever heard that before?
Who owns the moon? I don't know if I've ever heard of that one before.
Elves used to worship a goddess named Sayanine Moonbow, goddess of the moon. And it's just kind of like a thought experiment about, you know, things that are so big and powerful and important and who can control them. I'm just curious, all of you, she's, you know, points to Throg and Gladys. Who do you think owns the moon?
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure that some folks back home would surmise that like a lunar dragon type of thing would be the entity that owns the moon by hoarding it all to themselves or something, but I can't say I could think of much about owning something like that.
I think Throg sort of strokes his chin whiskers once again, and he nods and says, "An interesting conundrum. I would say that if I am trying to acquiesce to your preconceived setting here, that, you know what? No, I got no idea. I don't know. This is too complicated for me. I'm old. It's too much philosophy. It's not concrete. You can't own it. You can't even get to it. I'm sorry."
I the idea that Throg goes into one of his like little like wisdom moments and then is just like, I don't fucking know.
He has a wisdom meltdown.
He's only got a +1, and this started to get into like the metaphysics. This isn't even ownership of land; it's ownership of something you can't get to.
I've never thought about who would own the moon, because I guess I always just thought of the moon as just like one of those immovable celestial objects that just kind of exists outside of ownership.
Mac lands on your head and is like perched there as if to say, yeah, like Moon Squad.
Moon
Actually,
Squad.
I think Throg looks at the pickaxe after his little breakdown and takes a moment to think, and then looks at Gladys, and then looks at the Hollow Runner, and thinks back to everything that they've been trying to do over the last... I guess I don't really know how long we've been here. It doesn't seem like a super long time.
Last decade or two.
Yeah,
you
the
know,
last-
standard order of time.
Last 300 years we've been trapped in this new world. And says, those with power will always stake a claim to whatever resource, land, or concept they can, but that is not how things ought to be. And that is what I would say.
While you're all talking about that, Sid comes up and says, do any of you have a feather or an agate?
Like Treyan just looks a little bashful because he does have some things that are like charm stuff made with bozog feathers, and then gets out of his handstand before getting one of those trinkets effectively and offers it up to Sid. Just like, will this feather do?
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm gonna give you a couple more lines in the finished product. She makes a note.
Treyan will also just say, like, if it makes it easier for you, I mean, like, you know, I can fly, so you don't probably need to worry about the others when it comes to the fly spell, Sid.
All right, yeah, I can cast it on you two. And I'll save myself some juice. There's some spells I want to try out. She shows you her, her spell book, which is also the screenplay she's writing, or I guess the stage play. Mm-hmm. And so it's a combination of like dialogue, music, and magical notation. And you see the reason she asked for an agate is because that's a spell component in the spell Awaken, which is a high level bardic spell. And she shows you she has stuff, so she'll be fine. She was just curious if anyone had an extra.
Gladys is like, oh, that's a pretty complicated one.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. You know, nothing up here has intelligence, so I'm curious to start talking to some things. There was a big raccoon I saw earlier. I'm curious of his opinion on the moon.
Yeah, this moon question is very interesting. I'm probably going to be thinking about it long after we've split ways.
Wait, I have answer. Gladys, and he points to Mac.
Yeah, Mac spins around like a little pirouette. Ta-da!
Gladys will laugh at that. Just I don't. Mac is my friend. I don't think I own him.
So Sid takes the feather, kind of lets it float in front of her, and then plays a couple of notes on the piccolo, and both Throg and Gladys begin to float up off the ground, and you can fly for 10 minutes. And she is, tips her cap to you all, and everyone begins packing up and walking away. She says, if you come across any stray agates, let me know. I want to get a raccoon and a possum to debate the moon question. So I can give them intelligence. We'll see. We can put this to bed once and for all.
I could, if we meet up later, I will cast Speak with Beasts and ask Gort what he thinks.
Yeah, Gort goes,
I'll keep my eye out for that.
We're gonna find out Gort 100% believes ownership should be enforced by violence.
Yeah.
Can I eat it? Can I kill it? Then I own it.
If I have a bone and somebody else wants my bone, I fight them.
That is my right.
That's the original concept. So the elves wave and take off, with the ladybug shield and the big scary helm, and they go towards the tunnels, which they are going to go through. What do you all do? Paint me this picture. So it's morning to your circadian rhythm, but it is still blackest night because of the ecosystem. In front of you is a spire. At the top is pure darkness, and every once in a while, a tiny gem shoots out of it and streaks across the sky.
All right. So I think we talked about this like a little bit, that we are going to blast light into the darkness to get that form out of there. And my idea is that like during the morning, Gladys has been preparing like the best, most potent fire light spell that she can manage with her materials. And I think the little something that's going to give it a little extra kick is going to be that she's going to use some of the like luminescent dust, like that can fall off of Mac every so often, because it's the moon made of like moon dust.
Aw, Mac's got dandruff.
Oh gosh.
Mac is cool with it, because Mac is just like my little buddy, my little pal. The moon is gonna help me make the sun to throw into the black hole.
Yeah. So, I think Throg is gonna be looking up at the black hole, and he's preparing to go about this, and he's going to say to Gladys, Gladys, I think maybe you should hand the Hollow Runner to Sprinkles. You will have to be concentrating on your spell, and if anything goes wrong, she'll be able to potentially play a card to try to help us get out of this.
That is probably a better idea, because I'm not sure I'd be able to think fast enough to get it working in time. So if we have to move fast, work fast with a spell that I'm throwing out there.
Notably, when Sprinkles takes the Hollow Runner and attaches it to her wrist, she kind of nods to Throg, not to Gladys.
Mm-hmm.
And Gladys is like, I hope that the cards that we've got will be helpful. I know that you like using them. I hope you like the art on them.
Yep, she shuffles through the deck, looks fondly at the big pink rabbit, and smiles, puts it back.
Smiles at the big rabbit she brutally assaulted earlier in the week.
As a metaphor for her own feelings.
His cold, unchanging face. Perfect. Okay, I think Throg, rolls his shoulders, looks to Gladys and Treyan and goes, "Are the two of you ready to begin?"
Treyan has, taking care of getting his duffel bag kind of organized and has it basically strapped almost like a backpack at the moment and just sort of nods like, pretty much, let's get to it, right?
Gladys is going to take a deep breath. She's going to exhale and go, ready as I can be.
All right, and I think from there we all fly up and take like an equilateral triangular position around the big black hole.
Yep.
Yeah, as you fly away from the campfire, Throg, you are plunged into darkness. You don't have dark vision, so you can't see, and it isn't until Gladys uncorks her bottle that you will be able to see again. So that's just there's a moment where you're kind of plunged into darkness that I think is pretty interesting.
Yep, and meanwhile I have Gort and a baby Bjorn on my chest.
And Sprinkles is flapping along behind the group.
Throg will call out to Gladys. "Gladys, let there be light."
Everyone cover your eyes for just a second. Then she's gonna uncork that bottle and toss it, and it's just going to be a big flash of light, like at the black hole.
I will say that Treyan has his baseball cap turned backwards again and has to shield his eyes. It's like, why does this keep happening? Why am I having a hard time seeing these bright lights? If only I had something that could protect my eyes.
Oh, poor Treyan.
I think Throg didn't know when he had to keep his eyes closed or open for what was going to happen. It just got blasted right in the face.
He's just, oh, my eyes.
Oh no, Throg went through the SWAT 4 menu, selected flash and clear, and then the Gladys's AI just threw it out right in front of him.
Throwback. So a huge flash of pure light comes out of Gladys's potion bottle, and the pure light cancels out the pure darkness. What do you see?
I'm imagining like the light goes into the darkness and then bursts out, and then like it's almost like like those slow motion videos of like shooting a water balloon open, and like you have like the water balloon part that's like the darkness, and like the water inside that's the light, and then like there's the form in the middle there that's like freed for just long enough to escape that black hole's like dark gravitational pull.
So I think there's a few ideas we had for what change looks like. I think there's an idea. Yeah.
If I may make a suggestion, what if it looks different to each person that perceives it?
Like, my first thought is like a Rubik's Cube that is like folding in on itself.
Like a four-dimensional Rubik's Cube. Yeah.
And like there's this thing I'm trying to think of that's like this toy that's like a little metal mesh wire thing that you can turn inside and out. That's also kind of what I'm imagining.
Yeah, I get what you're talking about. Like, yeah, like some, like a hypercube-esque sort, like a hyper kaleidoscope kind of thing there. Like, there's a four-dimensional kaleidoscope.
Yeah, I remember kaleidoscope was another thing I was thinking, like, because I like the colorfulness of like it being kind of kaleidoscopic. Maybe like kaleidoscoping the point where you can see it, like if you could look at the spot where it's on top of, it's kaleidoscoping that.
I almost like to think, to give credence to Dan's idea, like the idea that it looks different to each person because as you look through it, like light and reality bends through it. So what you're seeing on the other side of it is different depending on the angle you're looking at it with. So the object is the same, but what you see through it is different.
And it doesn't really crystallize until it becomes the little gem and then it shoots out.
Every time, it's auto solving itself, and each time it completes, it shoots out a gem and then reshuffles itself and then solves itself again.
Oh no, it's a Bitcoin miner.
You all spend so much time admiring this huge shifting colorful, kaleidoscopic form, that the aboleth gets impatient in the back of your mind and starts, saying, "Come on, Jack, you got to destroy it. It's just sitting there. It's vulnerable. Well, I mean, if you can't do it, just bring it back to me. I'll do it."
Treyan sort of hems and haws about it a little bit, and then just decides to fly up closer to the form itself, to not really to take it, but to sort of get closer and see if it's even possible to like touch it.
Yeah, actually, Sophie was very clear in a conversation with Mari early in the season, because they had this discussion of what happens if I put my hand into Dio, was the question. And what happens is Dio becomes part hand and you don't have a hand anymore. So I think if you... I think if you like do it some kind of tentative reach to the form of something, it just gets changed. Like you reach out with to poke it with a trophy, and you're just holding a bouquet of flowers now.
Aw, the bronze flowers at least. That's pretty nice. Oh wait, no, one of them is silver. Shit.
It's
useless. Throw it away.
Garbage, trash.
Trash. Get at it. Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Trying to take the form on directly seems ill-advised. But the aboleth is like, you came all this way for this. I mean, you're not gonna be a Jack be nimble now, huh? You know, Jack be quick. I need you to take care of this. Someone else is gonna come along.
This isn't a candlestick, man. I'm not sure. I can't really jump over this, let alone grab it. It looks like.
I don't think we can touch it. I don't know if we can do anything to it. It was like I'm looking at it. It was inside like the darkest thing I've ever seen, and now it's out and it's fine. What do you even do about that?
So you crit, Sarah, so you can dictate this scene. I will say if we're flashing back through all your roles related to your big project, there was the one where, at the campfire where in the background, Throg was saying, if I go berserk, Treyan, you need to put me down. At that time, you were sitting with the Hollow Runner, and you were making blank cards to try to test duplication. And we talked about, how if you needed one more roll, which you just did, and you crit on religion. So you can make cards to duplicate things. And now you have think of it almost like the fuel. You have a form now, the form of change. And so I feel like you have perfectly set the table for this.
I'm thinking we're up here, we've thrown the light, we've seen this form in its whole. And Gladys is looking at it, and just, I think she's already said this, but she's like, this thing is untouchable. It's just sitting here doing what it does, is this perfect little platonic thing, and I don't think we can destroy this. I don't think it's right to. I know we came all this way, but I can't. I've seen what it can do, and I don't want to destroy something that's just making what seem like just people.
Exactly, you dumb son of a bitch. It's making people. It could be an army. You can't just let anybody have an army of little gem people. You need to do something about it. I'm in a big puddle back here. I can't get out. I can't do it myself. That's what you're for. What's the point of having a bunch of little guys if they're gonna be useless? I might as well just go swim into a cave and never come out.
But they're not. They don't need to be an army to be valuable. The one that we met was just like a fucking baby. I can't. In good conscience.
What about what I want, Jack? I need you. Listen, you destroy this big thing, or bring it back to me now, or we're gonna have to have a long talk about how many eyes all of you have. And I'm telling you, I think the eye market is going into a bit of a depression. I think the line's going down.
While the aboleth and Gladys are starting to have this argument, Throg very quietly just kind of drops his shield to the ground and essentially starts to like disarm himself. Like he begins to pull off his longbow and just let that drop. Stows the pickaxe into his backpack and waits to see how this is going to proceed.
All right, yeah, that's the image of you flying in the dark, and then your items start falling out of the air and like sticking in the ground.
Just to the eye remarks, Gladys is going to be like, I don't care if I lose both of them. I just, like, I'm here now, and I can finally see that I can't do this. I don't care if we got sent here to do this. I'm not just going to get bossed around by whoever's got more power over me for the rest of my life.
Okay, so because you crit, you definitely can do something here. I want to highlight you are making a choice to take a stand and not do something, even though you could.
I believe that's what I'm doing. I think the thing I'm deciding to do is to not destroy this thing by telling the aboleth that I'm not going to do it.
All right. Throg, wisdom saving throw as the aboleth tries to take over your body.
Okay. 10.
You are now aboleth.
All right.
Ah, sweet. Well, I can't wait to break out the new character sheet for this. Let's go.
Throg, use all of your tools to attack Gladys for betraying the aboleth. I warned you, some bitches.
Is there still light?
Yeah, there's this giant glowing sun that is counteracting the darkness. And so you are all having this fight in this weird, light and dark zone. It's a very, very interesting effect, I think, in the HBO adaptation. It's like some Spider-Verse stuff going on here. It looks really cool. It's maybe even photo negative while you're all fighting in the air, like Dragon Ball characters.
That sounds sick.
It's honestly really cool. All the combat this season has been dope.
Okay, let's see. So I've got no shield anymore, so I'm just going to, I guess, run up with the pickaxe and swing at Gladys.
Absolutely. I think even like you drop the shield and then you go to drop the pickaxe, and all of a sudden you can't control your hand anymore. It's like you're struggling with it, and that's when you lose control. It's like extra juicy.
All right, let's see. Yeah, it's gonna be a 26.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that hits for sure.
So that's 15 damage there. I don't think Gort could attack if he's in a baby Bjorn. So that'll just...
Yeah, he's just going along for the ride.
So yeah, bonus action would be... I guess I did this out of order, but the correct way to do this would have bonus action to cast Ensnaring Strike. And then on this hit, it'll activate. If I hit, that is. 17.
That does hit.
Okay. That'll be 10 more damage, and the Ensnaring Strike goes off.
That is a 1 with a minus
Not a
1.
natural 1.
All right, you take 3 piercing damage, and vines erupt from where I smack you with this pickaxe and restrain you.
All right. So, Throg, you lose control of your body as Gladys refuses to destroy or give the form to the aboleth. You streak across the sky and start battering her with your pickaxe, from which vines sprout and begin ensnaring her, keeping her from fighting back. Behind the group, Sprinkles looks at her deck of cards, shuffles through them, and with some gravity and solemnity, chooses Gun Dragon, a huge silver dragon whose claws and teeth are made of gun barrels, and she strikes it across the hollow runner, and it materializes in the air in this battlefield with the the black hole and the sun fighting for dominance around the form, and there's just this strange nega halo of light around it as it roars. And Treyan, you see Gladys getting battered, and you assumingly use your monk dragon wings to like fly over, but then the gun dragon opens its mouth, and from its throat there is a click as the barrel of it slots into place, and it tries to shoot you with an anti-materiel round. Can you make a dexterity saving throw?
That'd be a 12.
That is not going to do it. Holy Christ, this is a real dragon stats, 12d8 damage.
Do it. Let's see this.
You do not mess with dragons in this game. That's why it's named after them. 52 damage.
Okay. I'm down to 8 hit points after that.
Nice. A shot rips through the air. There's just this clap. It blasts clouds out of the sky around it as Gun Dragon taps you from across the battlefield with just the recoil sends the dragon back, several body lengths as it hits you with this rifle round. And it is your turn, Treyan.
Treyan, seeing like Throg on Gladys like that, is going to try to go past the gun dragon to go straight to deal with Throg and get Throg off of Gladys. Does that provoke an opportunity attack from the gun dragon, or
no? The gun dragon is at extreme range. Although if you get into melee with it, then it's a shotgun claws time.
I can't believe the gun dragon 360 no scoped Treyan.
I should have said that. Yeah, it has a gamer horn tail. It's like beep, 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 as it spins through the air.
The Treyan like flies in and is trying to just like knock Throg off of Gladys with some flying kicks in the air. First attack would be 25.
Yep, with no shield that'll definitely hit.
8. Treyan is going to attempt to impose a stunning strike on Throg.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. I got a 13.
Before Treyan will proceed to air combo there. Another 26 for the attack there. That's 7 damage there. Oh.
Jeez, Crow. You can't find any good help these days, the aboleth says.
Bonus action, and then flurry of blows. 23 and a 20.
Yeah, these all hit.
Yeah, so Treyan hits for a total of 27 damage on Throg, just, comboing on the old man, thinking back to Throg's words about the situation at hand. And like there's just a sad look on Treyan's eyes as he's just going in at it.
Yep, you've got me half dead, son. You gotta go the rest of the way. Kill this old man.
So that's 4 concentration checks you need to do.
All right. What are the DCs for this? Is it?
It's
based?
10.
Okay.
The DC is 10. Constitution saving throw.
If you fail a single one, Gladys is free.
All right, that's a 20.
Gosh.
And that's a 5.
All right, so Treyan's been in the Street Fighter 6 beta and starts juggling you across the sky, and eventually, Gladys, the vines around you wither and fall away as Throg / the aboleth are unable to keep you bound, and it is your turn.
All right. I think that with my turn, I'm going to use a bonus action to cast Healing Word so that I can heal up a little bit because Throg is fucking monster hitter.
Throg's having a flashback to when we fought those shit-ass owls.
Oh yeah, I can use my action to cast False Life, which will give me 1d4 plus 4 temporary hit points.
All right, so you just drink 2 potions on your turn? You're just pounding them?
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty cool. And we're back to Throg. Throg, you are, getting ultra comboed by Treyan, but you are still aboleth pilled. So how are you experiencing this? Is this again where you're in some kind of psychic reverie of your family or some war?
Yeah, I think maybe like with the hits, it's bringing him out of it a little bit in between them, but he's just like, it's like, you ever have, be really tired and you wake up from a dream and then you immediately fall back asleep and then you wake up again. It's kind of like that. It's incredibly disorienting. And after a while, you start to like become unable to tell if you're dreaming or not anymore. And like it's just like every hit is sending him into a different war, a different battle, another fight to the death, another desperate attempt to survive against everything. And he's just feral at this point.
I will point out that you're stunned until the end of my next turn.
That is also true.
He is feral and also unable to do anything about it.
Yeah, I do like the visual of you just getting punched through battlefields, though. It's like you get hit, you're on a beach, you get hit, you're on a mountain, you get hit, you're fighting in the trenches. It's just there's giants in one moment, then there's elves, then there's dwarves, and it's just combat.
Well, I think the perfect way to describe it is that it's sending him backwards through each of his memories. First, Treyan hits him, and it's him back in this fight with the aboleth. Then it's back to the fleas in Arabella, then it's not Arabella, in the flesh biome, then it's back to his losing his family, then it's back to the war, all the way until he's just a recruit in the army as a teenager, just sent backwards and through he's seeing his life flash before his eyes. That's literally what's occurring here.
All right. So that is your turn. You are going to be stunned still. It is now Sprinkle's turn, and she orders Gundragon to fly at the group and just do flak, like anti-air guns from each side. Not particularly accurate, but they're just kind of things going everywhere. Constitution saving throw as shells explode around you, and there's hot shrapnel in the air.
All right. Treyan rolls a 4.
Oh, I roll a 6.
I don't know if this was to me too, but I got a 6.
Oh no. Yeah, you're all kind of close together. So, oh my god. 30 damage to everyone.
Okay, 30 damage. Jeez.
All right, I'm very much dead.
Fuck.
Or dying.
Even with the temporary hit points and the fucking remembering that I was at full health at the start of this fight, that took me out.
Why do you have to waste my time like this? It's so futile. There's going to be someone else after you. What was the point of all this?
There will be someone after us, and there will always be someone who will oppose you. Now shut up and let me die.
I wouldn't be able to live with myself finishing what you wanted me to do. I can't do it.
The gun dragon is definitely a large, imposing foe. While Treyan doesn't have the resources to fully evade out the damage by the saves and such, because these are effectively ranged shots, Treyan on both the times that he was being shot at was able to utilize deflect missile, the monk ability, to reduce damage by D10 plus 11. And taking both of those into account, Treyan is the only one of the 3 members of Dragon Quest still alive after the flak attack lands in there.
How many hit points do you have left?
That would be 37 at that point there. So he's actually at over half maximum hit points still.
Nice. All right, so Throg and Gladys get knocked down, and you start falling out of the air. And the aboleth says, "Why do you do this? Come on, I was trying to be nice. I was going to let you go. It wasn't even a trick. All you have to do is help me. What's your problem, man?"
First of all, it was 1 second, and Treyan's grabbing onto Gladys and Throg as they're falling so he can make sure to brace their fall for them.
All right. Well, if you try to move to do that, the gun dragon is going to try to stop you, taking an opportunity attack. Actually, I'm going instead of being a weapon attack, why don't we do a strength contest as it tries to basically ram into you, like just a full on ramming speed, ancient ship attack.
Right. Treyan rolls a 10 on his strength check.
21.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a 10. Yeah, that was a big success. So the dragon opens up all of its like booster jets and just turns into a javelin as it comes screaming through the sky and slams into you as you try to catch your friends. And it is now pushing you into the away from the form and into the deeper night.
Like gets knocked away, does a couple of flips, try to rebalances himself, and then tries to figure out where the others are, because I'm pretty sure the darkness is pretty intense, but there's still maybe the bit of light in the distance, but he is in a disadvantage now in the darkness here.
Yes. So the gun dragon is like, going full speed ahead, like you're a fly stuck on the front of a train's cowcatcher as you move deeper into the darkness. And in the distance, you can see your friends falling out of the air. You see the light and dark spheres on top of the spire with the form, but the aboleth is in your head now, and you can feel it almost like feeling around with its psychic tentacles. Probing telepathy is the name of this ability. It is like winding its way through your brain. Throg and Gladys lose consciousness, and so the aboleth is not in your minds. The aboleth does not know what's up with you, and Sprinkles is controlling the gun dragon, so it's just you and the aboleth now, Treyan. Like it's looking directly into your eyes, like you're the only one, and it says, you could still get to the edge of the world, and you can make a new place, and you can bring your friends back. I'll let you live. Just destroy the form or bring it to me.
How am I supposed to do that, man? I tried reaching out for it, and I can't touch it. Like, you have all the ideas, man. You could have told us how to deal with it. You just keep on pointing to it like it's some threat and that you want to have it removed, and that's fine and all, but, all I'm good for is just fighting people, man.
Your little glad bag, the little one-eyed lady, she knew. She made these blank cards. She could have used them. She could have, absorbed some stuff into them. She could have done it. I know she had all kinds of thoughts. She was trying to keep me out, but I'm a master locksmith. You can't lock the door on me, on your old buddy Kashim.
I'm not Gladys, and I don't know what that all means, but first I'd have to get back to them. I have to get back to the forum to do anything, man.
I rolled a 4 to reload the gun dragon's central cannon, which is not good enough. I needed a 5 or 6. So you hear something click inside of it as it misfires, trying to line up another shot on you. And the aboleth says, I don't trust you anyway, man. You're a liar, and you're a coward, and you're a third place loser.
Man, listen, I'm not trying to be any of those things, all right? But I'll tell you this. Is this something a coward would do? And then he just sort of tries to, if he can see the gun dragon, he's going to try to go straight at it and just punch the gun dragon as well as he can.
Yeah, you were pressed up against it, like I said, like a fly in a windshield. So
he's going to start punching at it. 20
hits,
16
miss.
So that's 9 damage initially. Flurry of blows, 10 and 19.
19 hits.
So Treyan's just sort of punching at it, and 15 damage of, let's say, fire damage just sort of like sparks off little flames as he knees and kicks at the gun dragon to try and, do something to stop it.
Yeah. Interestingly, your fists are magic at this level of monk.
Mm-hmm.
So when you punch this, hard metal of this metal dragon, your fist just starts slicing through the exoskeleton of this machine creature in a way that would be surprising to any observer. Maybe even the aboleth's like, "Whoa, Nelly, those are some powerful kicks there, friend." Unfortunately, I got some tricks and kicks of my own. Sprinkles, let him have it. And the gun dragon unloads its shotgun claws into your chest. 29.
That will hit.
I can. Wow, the dragons have such good stats.
They sure do, man. You know,
Yeah, looking at this.
Pretty great.
Dragons in Dungeons and Dragons have good stats.
All right. So one barrel catches you, and you are going to take.
You know what's lucky? That the flak shot a perfect circle around Gort.
Gort's having a great time here.
14 damage as the shotgun rips into your side, and the gun dragon opens its mouth and is going to start on the next turn trying to reload the main sniper cannon again. I have to get a 5 or a 6 on a d6.
Treyan is going to shadow the Colossus his way in this situation, climb up the front of the dragon to get up closer to its face to, knock it around a bit there.
All right.
Just like 27.
Holy shit.
And 19 for the first 2 attacks.
Those both hit.
That's going to be 21 fire damage, and then we'll do another flurry of blows. 20 and crit.
Oh my lord! If Treyan solos this actual dragon,
he's got to detonate the rounds in the chamber.
Yeah,
that's 21. Oh my gosh, I rolled borderline minimum damage on the crit there. So that's only 15 extra damage. That's a total of 36 damage fire on the dragon there.
All right, yeah, that could have been bad. You were actually getting some serious strikes in. You can see in the distance, the gun dragon is like streaking towards the edge of the ecosystem and towards the next one. Maybe you can see like the tunnel biome to one side, which is like looks to be a huge cliff, right? That is like Swiss cheesed with little holes. And we've discussed previously that, the elves thought about flying over it, but they were carrying too much stuff, so they had to go through the tunnels. You can see that, and then you see ahead of that to the east is a misty biome. You don't know all the features of it. It just seems like it is a kind of highland covered in an interesting layer of like fog. There's creatures moving around, big creatures. In fact, I don't know that you would recognize, say, Brontosaurus, Stegosaurus, things of this nature. But there's like big lizards kind of peeking in and out of the mist ahead of you.
Those are some weird looking dragons.
Oh, is this Dragonland? No.
Yes, but you were actually cutting through the gun dragon's armor with your magic kicks, and it is the aboleth is showing some concern here, and I think at a certain point, Sprinkles kind of pushes her mind into this group call. You can just kind of feel her presence, and she starts projecting an image into your mind, and it is this very strange card that Throg was looking at last night with her, and it is Humpty Grumpty.
I remember Humpty Grumpty. I'm just kind of curious about what the implication of that card being shown in this moment, in this situation.
Hey, before you die, I really like this art.
This is my new favorite artist. I hope you know.
There's just this big egg creature like running away on this art, and she's just projecting this into your mind. And the aboleth is still going on, saying like, "Come on, you're my little guy. Just do me a favor. Your friends will put their eyes back in. It's not going to be a problem. I just need you." And then just Humpty Grumpty, Humpty Grumpty, Humpty Grumpty, as if Sprinkles is trying to drown him out.
Treyan just sort of like shakes his head a bit, and then I guess if he's allowed to, is just going to try to continue to beat on the dragon here, to the gun dragon, to stop, being pushed further away.
It is actually Sprinkle's turn, and she is going to instruct Gun Dragon to basically start diving down with you, pressed up against its body in a kind of attack that is going to destroy both of you.
Treyan, you know what you got to do? You got to turn this dive bomb into a suplex.
Pretty much. Like,
that's incredible.
Like, that's pretty much my thought I was thinking about. It's just like Treyan to sort of like uses. Okay, so if I can, I would propose burning my last instance of wings of the dragon wings for this long rest arc that I have available to try to get enough leverage to try and just turn the gun dragon enough to put it between him and the ground.
All right, dexterity contest.
All right.
I rolled a 9.
Treyan rolls a 21.
All right. Describe to me this. So imagine a bullet train with wings and teeth slams into you, is just streaking through the sky like a silver bullet, and then it starts angling down towards the ground. It is going, down, down, down as fast as it can, and you were just pressed up against it. You're punching, kicking into its armor and like getting, some pretty good shots in. If this fight continued, maybe with, some luck, something else could happen. And then it seems like it's about to drive you into the ground at top speed. What do you do?
Well, the easy answer would be I just pull a Sabin and suplex the bullet train, but I think what Treyan does is become sort of aware of the barometric pressure change as we are going down and down and down past the layers of the atmosphere. And peering out of the corner of his eye, he notices the ground quickly coming up. He maintains his grip, holding on basically as just the motion of the gun dragon keeps him pinned against the front, punches and kicks kind of in a slightly weaker manner until it is very clear that the gun dragon would not be able to pull up if or anything else like that. At which point Treyan plants his feet against the torso of the gun dragon, kicks off just enough to give space. The wings unfurl yet again, and he rotates in the air to get enough angular momentum to roll around the neck of the gun dragon before grabbing onto the back, tugging almost a way to sort of pull the gun dragon's head backwards in a sort of like pulling on reins, and then just impact into the ground with a disgusting, violent sort of cratering type of impact.
All right, how much damage do you think this will be? Because you are also moving very fast, and this is not easy on a body. I think you're going to take some fraction of this, so I think this is like a risk-reward thing here. So I could assign it arbitrarily, but what do you think is the damage rolls and splits?
Like, we're going terminal velocity. I would say that's something in the order of like either 10d6 or 10d12, kind of in that upper range of that would be not outlandish to say.
Oh my god, Treyan is the meteor that killed the dinosaurs.
That would be such a great reveal. I'm going to do 10d12. I'm going to hit this button and let's see what Santa Claus brought us. 61 damage as you slam the gun dragon into the ground. And I think that is actually not enough to finish it. So like it snaps a wing off, breaks like an arm and a leg, and it goes sliding across the ground, but it is still alive. How much damage do you think Treyan takes just from decelerating at that speed, basically?
Well, it's a little bit tough because Treyan also has slow fall as a monk. So he naturally can reduce falling damage by 30. So if you even to say like he takes half of that, or then he took 1 damage from the fall, basically, or actually 0, because 61 rounds down to 30 exactly.
All right. So what your spectral wings, are put at such an angle that you come to like a sliding stop in the ground and like dust yourself off perfectly unharmed?
Pretty much.
If I may suggest for like a more cinematic idea, maybe he's coming in at speed and he's just at a full monk sprint as his feet hit the ground, like a fucking plane landing.
All right, so you take half of 61 minus 30, which is 0. You slide across the ground, start into a sprint, and start running at the dragon whose arms and legs and wings are broken. It is still up, and it is your turn. I assume you just continue the kicks.
Yeah, in this case, your Treyan dives in and just starts going at it to try to finish this thing off. 20 for the first attack.
Hits.
12 for the second, which will miss. That's 7 fire damage. We will then key point for flurry of blows. 24 and 21.
Those all hit. Oh my lord! If you take out this fucking adult dragon by yourself,
so that would be a total of 22 fire damage.
All right, I'm going to roll to reload my gun. 1, that does not do it. And so you run in, you start kicking the teeth out of this dragon. You hear a click inside of its throat, and you see a shell try to roll into place, and it just gets stuck on the bent metal walls inside of the gun dragon. And it looks extremely bad, and it is going to point one of its broken arms at you and just try to discharge the shotgun. 26.
That will hit.
And 13 misses.
It does not count as a ranged attack, correct?
No, shotgun is point blank.
Yeah. So, all right, Treyan's down to 11 hit points.
Oh my god, this is so close.
All right. Treyan up again. So
absolutely.
16.
Miss.
24.
Hit.
That's 7 fire damage. Last key point. 16, 27.
All right.
That's another 13 fire damage on this thing.
All right. It could have been better. It still has a little bit of health left, and it's going to try to reload its gun for the 3rd time, I think. 3, that doesn't do it. At this point, click, 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 click. Something's just wrong with the gun. I might just stop trying. Shotgun again. 27. And
that will hit.
27.
Those will both hit, yes.
All right. That's not good.
Nope.
39 damage.
And that will knock out Treyan at this point.
All right, so paint me the picture. So you've shattered this dragon on the ground. You're in a misty highland. There's a brontosaurus-like neck peering out through a cloud looking at you. You are just standing in front of this dragon and kicking all of its teeth out. You have broken its neck in such a way as its main gun won't fire anymore. One of its arms is sheared off. How does it beat you at the last second?
Treyan has just sort of like... Treyan probably could have done other things a little bit better tactically, like heal up a little bit and such here and there, but just the sort of the desperation and the noise in his head from the mixture of the aboleth of Kashim and sprinkles had made him just sort of focus on doing what he can to stop the gun dragon, viewing the gun dragon as the thing that is the big threat at the moment. So kicks, plenty, strikes into like dodges a handful of the shotgun blasts, but as he sees a possible opening to finish off, even with the wounded arms, both of them come up and both fire almost at the same time. The shotgun blast shooting Treyan back, tumbling on the ground and even rolling off of a small little plateau to a slower a lower bank behind some rocks as he's knocked down to unconscious from that blast, while the large gun dragon is still wounded to the point where it's not going to be able to move from where it is easily, if at all.
Yeah, so Treyan, you like start losing consciousness at the foot of this hill, and this huge broken machine is like trying to crawl towards you. It is like using every last ounce of its strength to kind of, slowly like claw at the ground and move its body, when a colorful feathered creature kind of curiously wanders up, looking at the situation, sees you, a reptile unconscious on the ground, sees this big machine, in this Archaeopteryx, this prismatic ancient ancestor of the modern bird, checking out the situation, kind of hops forward and pulls a bunch of wires out of the side of this gun dragon's neck, and it goes limp.
Good, now you know the rest of the story.
I saw a spark against the dark, and we erupt, but it's a slow burn. I take a chance we start to dance. Can't see enough to know to turn around. Sound of a bonfire carries over fences, titillates the senses. We can feel the heat, the chill wind is pushing you into me, and it's looking like we might be burning, might be burning, might be burning down. But we're a bonfire, I keep putting in, I keep putting in. Oh, we're a bonfire, I keep putting in, I keep putting in. I take your hand, but you demand a different love, a different touch. Well, off we go to burn below the kindling. Was it quite enough? The sound of a bonfire carries over fences, titillates the senses. We can feel the heat, chill wind is pushing you into me, and it's looking like we might be burning, might be burning, might be burning down. But we're a bonfire, I keep putting in, I keep putting in.